Honorable Minister, Shri Jitendra Singh Ji, respected PSA to the Government of India, Shri Ajay Kumar Sood Ji, Scientific Secretary to the Office of PSA, Dr. Parminder Mini Ji, ADG PIB, Shri Dheeraj Singh Ji, respected dignitaries and guests, good morning and namaskar. I'd like to begin with thanking the Office of PSA who led this project and gave us an opportunity to be a part in drafting this report. A very important report indeed. With FAST mission to catalyze India's journey to be a top science and technology nation, this was a great opportunity for us. I would also here like to acknowledge my colleagues from FAST who worked closely with the PSA's office, and the teams jointly spent many tireless months in preparing this report. It was an arduous task because India's achievement in science goes beyond the 6 S&T ministries to various other ministries, departments and institutions such as in health, defense, railways, civil aviation who contribute to India's S&T. The team collated data from 22 ministries, both publicly available data and consultations facilitated by the Office of the PSA. The other interesting part of this report is, which the team really enjoyed, was to look at what impact S&T has on the lives of our citizens and serving national priorities. While many S&T reports look at scientific metrics like papers, patents, citations, the uniqueness of this report lies in looking at the impact of science on furthering India's social and economic goals. And the respected PSAs shared a lot of examples of these. As we gathered material for this report, it dawned on us that these achievements are the tip of the iceberg. These achievements will multiply manifold in coming years, and India is poised to become a top science and technology nation globally. To make this happen, as the Honorable Prime Minister has said, India, and especially the industry, has to increase its investment into R&D as a percentage of GDP. Anusandhan NRF, which again the respected PSA mentioned, created recently by the Act of the Parliament, will be a great vehicle for industry, ministries and science institutions to work together towards these goals. As the Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, STIP 2020, has pointed out, we need to improve the ease of doing research in India. India's pioneering work in digital public goods and infrastructure, again part India Stack, which the respected PSA mentioned, similar approach can help digitize the process of financing and conducting research, helping us achieve this very fast. Science and technology missions for India's economic and social goals, such as the recent semiconductor mission and the recent AI mission, will have a multiplier effect on our national efforts. With these, we strongly believe that science and technology progress will make India both Atmanirbhar, a self-sufficient based on the strength of our indigenous technology capability, and a Vishwaguru, exporting knowledge, products and services from India to the whole world. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun, for your remarks. It is now time for a momentous occasion as we unveil the report. I am delighted to please join me in welcoming Dr. Jitendra Singh as he unveils the report.
साइंस फंडामेंटल होना चाहिए, उसमें तो कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज हो ही नहीं सकता है। साइंस फंडामेंटल होना चाहिए, लेकिन टेक्नोलॉजी लोकल।
obtaining the digital copy of the report, our team, as we speak, is distributing the printed instructions which contains the QR code and the link. Following the unveiling, may I request the Honorable Minister of State for the Prime Minister's Office to share his insights and perspectives on the role of science and technology in shaping India's future in his special address.
Principal Scientific Advisor, Professor Sood, Dr. Maini, Mr. Agarwal, Mr. Dheere Singh, Secretaries of the various ministries and departments of science, senior members of the fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I ought to congratulate PSA, Professor Sood and his team for having come out with this beautiful compilation in a brief span of time. I thought you would clap for him. And at the same time, I must appreciate also the collaboration by the team FAST, the Foundation of Advancing Science and Technology. As was being mentioned by PSA, that this report could have been a 1,000-page report, which itself speaks volumes about the series of scientific milestones recorded one after the other over the last 10 years since 2014 when Prime Minister Modi took over. I think broadly speaking, and without being repetitive, because Professor Sood has given you a very elaborate resume, the last 1 decade would be remembered at least for having made a mark at 3 different levels. A, that for the first time after independence, it gave a sense of esteem to the science and the scientists, which possibly had not happened earlier. Even if you went to the matrimonial market and you said you were a scientist, they would say, what do you do for a livelihood? So that was the kind of social perception about the science and research. Second, I think this is the first time there's a real actual vindication of the founding fathers of science after independence. At the time of independence, we had a group of young scientists who we had inherited from the pre-independence era. And they had a vision for the independent India, which got to be realized only in the last 10 years. One of them, of course, Sarabhai, about whom the PSA mentioned what all has happened in the space sector. Like, for example, Homi Bhabha, all that you were hearing yesterday from Prime Minister about DRDO achievements is actually what was laid down by Homi Bhabha way back. Then, of course, C.V. Raman and Bhattacharya. So, ultimately, it is now that we have also indicated or thought to realize that we or at least made a humble effort in that direction. And third, this decade would also be remembered for having put India as a frontline nation of the world, primarily through its science success stories. Not by having won a war, not having got into a very high diplomatic achievement, is one after the other success stories related to science or technology which have placed us. So I think broadly these are the 3 different levels where science and technology for India has given India a new dimension and also placed it on a new pedestal. And it's just incidental that in the single year, you just look back, we have had a series of success stories, for example, in space, as Professor Sood was mentioned, which have not only proven our scientific capabilities, but also proven to the world that we could actually do better. And these have been possible, and as researchers, I don't know whether we think about why this is possible now. And all these 3 levels which I said happened only 3 decades, 1 decade, why so? I think there has to be another compilation or a project to study why so. Why couldn't it happen earlier? But I'm sure someday some analysts would also try to look into that. Because we didn't have a dearth of Sarabhais, Homi Babas. We had talent in plenty, we had potential in plenty, we had commitment in plenty, we had vision in plenty, but possibly we didn't have the kind of enabling milieu which was to be provided by the policy planners and the political leadership of the country, and which happened only after 2014. And that's why when we talk of science and science success stories which have placed India on the world pedestal, we would not be able to do so without giving credit to Prime Minister Modi. And that is evident from what Professor Sudhir said, from what I'm going to say in the next 2 or 3 minutes. In space, we had Chandrayaan, that's only last year. We started off our journey much after the other countries. The ISRO was founded in 1969. If you look back into the archive newspaper, that was the year when America landed its first human being on the surface of the moon, Neil Armstrong, and we were just being born. But today we are there on the southern pole even before others. Same with the Aditya L1, which has placed us among 2 or 3 nations. And now we are ready with Gaganyaan. And the 4 of these Air Force officers who have been selected for that are actually being sought by Americans to accompany them to the International Space Station. So even they believe that our astronauts would be able to add value to their mission, to their voyage. And all this has happened only in the last 1 year or 2 years. Which means there was something amiss which has happened. And that's because the space was opened up in just 8 months. From 1st of April to 31st of December, we have had a private investment of more than 1,000 crore in the space sector. From single digit, we moved on to 3-digit startups in space. So we had actually shut down our doors and windows, not letting the breeze in and allowing ourselves to be suffocated. And once we opened up, see the wonders of the ventilation that has happened. So that means everything was there, the ingredients were there, but we were not allowing the milieu to be compatible. Similarly, the other success story which Professor Sood mentioned, the vaccine story. Dr. Rajesh Gokhale is there. Mission Suraksha was set up by Government of India, and it was actually a political decision. It couldn't have happened only with the Department of Biotechnology. And so much of a liberty was given because I am a strong believer of the fact that if you have to have a successful research project or a successful startup project, you need to have industry linkage right from the beginning. And this vaccine story is one of the most evident examples of that. Right from the day the trial started in Faridabad, they are already engaged in the MOU with Bharat Bio. And today we are known as protective health leaders across the world. And that has opened way for a series of other vaccines which we are gifting to the rest of the world. When we were till yesterday importing therapeutic drugs from other countries, leave aside protective. We were hardly taken seriously as a healthcare nation, even at a social level. The aroma which he mentioned, I think for the first time, now these I think may be a subject for the next research project. This is also an indication of the fact that we did not actually explore the sectors which were absolutely indigenous. We are going into IT because we thought it's all about IT, it's all about IIT, it's all about PhD, it's all about English-speaking scientists, not at all. You'll be amazed when you see some of the brand boys from the Aroma mission whom we have been taking around the country. They hardly speak a fluent language, but they know their task very well. They're rolling in lakhs. Almost 30% of them not even graduates. Because that was exclusively Indian domain, which doesn't belong to any other country. And that's been there. Himalayas have been there long before us. The Aroma has been there. Not that this government discovered, but the earlier governments didn't discover, but didn't attend. Like Wordsworth says, one man walks through the world through eyes open, the other walks through the eyes closed. Walk to dono kar dete. So the first time the eyes were open to those circles. So that is high. We have reached that esteem. And that has generated over 3,000 startups in just over 2-3 years. And I would rather referring to them as agri startups to give them some kind of a fashionable esteem. So that's not only IT startup. Then our digital stories, which have become a role model for the rest of the world. And mind you, these are not only science stories. I think some days another chapter would also be written that these are actually socio-economic reforms. Using technology as a basis, or a medium, or a vehicle. DBT is being quoted all over the world. What a beautiful experiment. Middleman is out of job, and you are providing job to others. And that day I was amused to learn from some of the officers in the finance department that we already saved 1 lakh crore through DBT, to the direct transfer. The JAM, of course, as Dheeraj mentioned. And more than that, the GEM. GEM portal, wherever you go, the marketeers say, ye महंगा पड़ रहा है. That's a common story because we being in public life meet all kind of, right from business magnates to the small shopkeeper. Nobody was initially happy. Even today they are reconciling. You know why? Because I purchase from you as a dealer, you are the wholesaler, the tax is 10%, you charge 8, 2 I give to you, 6 I charge, and the loss is the government's. And now, when they started doing, the exchequer has gained more than 65,000 crores. But of course, we are getting used to it. Because there's another area which is called economic behavior, which actually fetched a Nobel Prize about 5 years back. Because economic behavior is not adapted as yet. So all these successful experiments are also leading to not only the socio-economic reform, they are changing our social culture, they are also changing our economic behavior. And in course of time, maybe next generation of our business community would reconcile, get used to it. Because till now they were never expected to give their entire tax. Your rupee. And then, I think if you want to also write it, the same compilation in the form of a novel, you should start from the day when Prime Minister Modi from the Red Part said, "Start up India, stand up India." And I know personally many people would ask me, what is this meant? Nobody knew where to stand up and where to start and what all this meant about. The concept itself was so alien to us. But look, what a wonderful journey from 350 to more than 1 lakh and so many unicorns. We had just about 50 biotech startups, now we are more than 6,000 space, I told you, from single digit, 3 digit. Of course, the Roma startups. And all these are going to contribute to the future economy of India. So it's not a success story, but if you see broadly, science has been a medium of India's rapid growth in the last 1 decade and it's going to lay the foundation for the future growth. So when we say, the Prime Minister has been repeating time and again, that the third term we will be from 5th to 4th economy and then subsequently 3rd economy. But have you ever heard, have you thought where is it going to the value going to be added? Is from all these areas which will either unexplored totally or underexplored for a variety of reasons, for a variety of regulations or unnecessary bindings. Blue economy, the same ocean,